Hey there, welcome back to Navigating the Shift. This is Annabelle and Sarah, and we're very close. Well, I'm here already, of course. Being in Australia, it's the 20th of February to 2020. There's lots of 2s and 0s in that, whereas that'll be for you tomorrow, right, Sarah?
Right, yes. So we were going to talk a little bit about the energy that's going on, numerology, and a bit of astrology, just a little short. But we're going to talk about some of the changes that need to happen to get us to the next phase, help us navigate the shift. So the number of 2, so we've got 2020, of course, is the year, and then you've got 220, February 20th, and then you've got February 22nd, which is just a whole lot of 2s. And then when you have a 0 after it, that's like multiplying it by 10, basically. So it's like huge, super 2s. So the energy of 2s is cooperation, working together. That's the most feminine number of all the numbers. 22, of course, is one of the master numbers, and it represents the ability to bring in cosmic energy information and translate it in a way that can be shared and used in this realm. So it's a really good energy, and so I pulled up the chart, which I have here, and I noticed on the 22nd for me that a few things I thought kind of relate to this. There's one thing. Mars has moved into Capricorn. Mars is going to start making action, and we're seeing action in the cleaning up of the Capricorn system, the deep state. I mean, even Facebook was sued by the Internal Revenue Service for $9 billion. I'm like, whoever thought that would happen, right?
Wow.
Yeah, evidently they sent all their revenue to Ireland to avoid paying taxes, and they're getting invested on it. There's a trial on that now. Mm-hmm. But what else is going on is that we've got a bunch of stuff in Pisces, which is the last sign. It's very spiritual. It's your visions and your dreams. And Mercury is currently retrograde in there, which means it gives you a good chance to see if there's anything you missed in your spiritual growth. You can see it again. You might have friends, depending on what house it's in, you can have old friends show up again, or things from the past can happen. Also, what can happen with the Mercury retrograde is things that you should have dealt with that you didn't can come up and go, now it's time. So also in Pisces is Neptune, that's its home. So it's accentuating that energy there, and the sun, which brings fuel to it. So we've got a lot of, with the 2s, with the harmony and balancing of the 2s and this lovely Piscean energy, and a chance also to Mercury to kind of slow down a little bit. You don't want to go charging full speed ahead. So meditate. And that idea of that harmony means we've got to get out of judgment of the other side.
And there's so much judgment going on at the moment because everybody has their own version of what the other side is.
Exactly. If you ever, like on Twitter, if you ever look at Trump's, he tweets something, and then boom, 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 there's just a war going on. He's like, best president ever, worst president ever. And then everybody goes, here's these facts about him that prove he's awful. Here's these facts about Obama that prove he's awful. It's just da, 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 da. And people calling each other names and putting out all these things where you vote, is Trump the best, or are you inspired by Obama or whatever? And then everybody's like, everybody jump on this, we're going to ruin their thing, you know?
Gang warfare, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's a bad energy. It's a real punk.
Whether you're right or not, it's a bad energy. And you're not, I think we've got to that point now where most people you're not going to convince that you are right. They're going to have to see evidence from somewhere else. You might back it up with as much marvelous evidence as someone like Amazing Polly. She does such great research, and you might have all those facts, and they still won't believe you because it doesn't fit. You know, they're just going to have to. They're going to have to wait until mainstream media are taken over, and they have to admit what the new news is. which will eventually it's got to happen. When you start having high profile people getting arrested, they can't not report it. They're going to have to eventually admit that somebody is a criminal when they had made them out to be a hero in the first place. And only then will those people listen. So there's no point in wasting your time doing all that fighting. And I think also, when I was looking at, this was a really early Cryon thing a few years ago, an article about master numbers. And he only gave a definition of the double numbers 1 1 2 2 3 3. He said beyond that you guys have not learnt yet. Well, that's interesting. But the double 2, double 2 was like a major choice in life. So whenever I see a double 2 and I actually notice it, then I know there's going to be a choice coming up for me, which might make 2 different life paths, or might make something quite different. And so if that's what's coming up, that's another way of looking at the date, the 22nd of February coming up with all those 2s, is that here's an opportunity for you to make a choice, isn't it? That do you want to keep on with that energy of fighting for your opinion because you're sure you're right? And let's face it, everything that we're given, we are not there. We cannot yet see. Not all of us are remote viewers and can actually see what happened in every single case. We're just taking it from one person or the other and deciding, I believe that one or this one. All of us, really.
I agree.
So sitting back and being detached is the way to go.
Yes, and forgiveness. For all the people who are screaming for the perp walks and I want them in jail and, they need to go to Gitmo, treason, hang them, whatever. You're carrying karma because you're not forgiving. And you want to get out of that, and you don't want to carry that. And for me, I don't care if not one of them goes to jail, as long as the bad stuff that's going on stops. Whatever it takes to stop it is all that matters to me. I'd rather that, I'd rather they didn't have a chance. As long as they can't come back and start it up again, whatever it takes. I don't have any vengeance feeling or like justice must be served. It's not where I'm at. And that's hard because there's a lot of people in the Q community are really, really pro-justice. They've got to pay.
Yeah.
And then there's all the drama of, well, forget it. Q keeps saying it's going to work. It's never going to work. It's a LARP. But you just back and forth. It's just a waste of mental energy. I'd rather be in my garden. So a way that what was given to me, information that was given to me from my higher self, was a way of looking at it that helped pop me out of that sense of, oh, they're evil. God, how can I do that? Oh, I have to stop them, that kind of thing. And what it was is called the out-breath and the in-breath of the creator. So the idea of the out-breath is and there are various cycles. There's these, like that long, 26,000 years, and there are shorter ones. And during the out-breath, what happens is things are separated. They're made smaller. The frequency lowers. You have higher density in the law of one speak to lower density. So that's what happens. And during the in-breath time, what happens is the opposite. There's a pulling together. There's a remembering lost things. There's a raising of your frequency. So these cycles are all originated from creator. So whatever creator is choosing for that cycle is what feels like is good and right. So during an out-breath time, doing things that we think of as evil feel like those are right. We should be hurting other people to lower their frequencies. That's what it's about. During an in-breath time, which is where we're at now. I know it's weird, right? but creator is neutral. Yeah. Creator, what they said in the law of one, they say you can't be on a service to self path past fourth density. Because you reunite. You just can't go up to fifth density in service to self. So ultimately, all the souls get gathered back in, the great circle of life continues. So creators, with free choice says, yeah, how else are you going to get down to like physical reality? How are we going to have that wonderful experience of separation so that we can have that wonderful experience of getting back together again?
Like people that break up because of the fun of making up, isn't it? In a smaller sense. Or I'm kind of wondering, as you explain that, it also sounds like that this idea of separating, whether that's good, I still can't quite understand how evil is good, but evil is judgment anyway, isn't it? So
evil's what we call it. If you think of it as just out-breath energy.
Right. So out-breath, but could out-breath also mean, like if you looked at it as a wave rather than like a zigzag, that if it was
a wave,
that you would have the separation and splitting is almost like a deconstruction of the old systems in order to rebuild something newer on the in-breath?
The way I got it is more like, if you want to create something, you have to remove something. That being, say you wanted to create feminine energy. First, you have to remove masculine energy. That's the separating. If you want to create a rock that's made out of granite, you have to take out air, water, all this other stuff has to be removed for it to become that. And the other idea is that idea of spiritual superiority, where you're like, oh, I just don't know how people can be so negative. I just am not like that. That kind of, during big out-breath periods, there's spiritual superiority for doing out-breath stuff.
Oh, there sure are. That's certainly happening a lot at the moment.
Yeah, and that service to self is that out-breath energy. Our planet has been in one of those cycles, and we're being scooped up, and now we're going, whoa, back in, which is why it feels good and right to raise your vibrations and all that other stuff.
Yeah, well, that's the choice as well, isn't it? To kind of move back into one and, like you said before, totally focus on what you want. What you want is for the bad stuff to stop, for us to be in peace, and people can tolerate other people's perspectives. And if we focus on that is what we're looking for, then that's what you draw towards you.
And you can think about it this way. I need to use out-breath energy to make that go away so I can have a reality with that not here. Mm. It's sort of like the cycles of nature. You can't, the trees grow in spring and then fall off in fall. And so it's like being willing to embrace destruction as part of a cycle. It's that toroidal torus shape, where it's really it's doing it all in and out at the same time.
Yeah, lovely description.
So just, if you find yourself getting caught up in the drama and oh my God, how could they be so evil? And this is going to be happening, that a lot of people are going to be there because a lot more stuff is going to be exposed as we go forward. So just, have that in your mind, oh, Creator doesn't care either way. I'm pretty sure that's Law of One teaching as well.
Doesn't the Bible say that God doesn't judge? And I've always reminded my very Christian mother of that, because she was always so judgmental. I said, well, Jesus wouldn't judge like that, and God doesn't judge. And she would be like, she couldn't argue against that.
Like a dog.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that will do us for this little topic.
Yep, that was it.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.